Welcome to Trading Tunes, where songwriters share stories, inspiration, and, of course, their music. I'm Julie Finn, songwriter, guitarist, educator, and performer, and in this series I sit down with fellow artists to talk shop, trade tunes, and explore the magic of songwriting. For our very first episode, I'm joined by the incredible Erin Bonnie. A roots crooner with a feminist rock edge, Erin is an Americana folk rock mama and a powerhouse fiddle player with style and presence to boot. Drawing inspiration from Gillian Welch, Bonnie Raitt, Emmylou Harris, and Dolly Parton, she's a true singer-songwriter at heart. Her songs are rich with melody and language, crafted for those intimate, honest moments that only happen between an artist and an audience. Erin's music has landed on Young and the Restless, earned her an honorable mention in American Songwriter Magazine's Lyric Contest, and a nomination for Best in State, Massachusetts at the New England Music Awards. She's recorded in Nashville with Grammy-winning talent and played stages from Cambridge to Connecticut, whether headlining or supporting Boston's own country diva Eliza Smith. Today we'll dive into Erin's journey, her songwriting process, and of course we'll swap a couple of tunes. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and enjoy the very first episode of Trading Tunes. Welcome to the barn. I'm Julie Finn, and this is my dear friend, Erin.
Hi.
So tell us about your journey. What first inspired you to start writing songs?
Yeah, so, I grew up in a very musical household. My dad plays bluegrass. He's always been in a bluegrass band, picking the guitar and singing songs. And
I love that.
yeah, so I was at all the shows when I was a kid because that's just what we did.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was little, I was like, well, I want to play the fiddle. Can I play the fiddle?
When
Yeah.
you were little?
Yeah, I was 4.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So you decided right on.
Yes. Of course, they signed me up for classical violin lessons. But
Suzuki?
yes, Suzuki
Okay.
style, yeah. But I had the best teacher. She was amazing. Her name was Suzanne Hartzell.
Mm-hmm.
Is Suzanne Hartzell. She lives in Missoula. But
Shout out to Suzanne.
shout out to Suzanne, who I would not be here without.
Oh,
yeah,
love
I
that.
studied with her until I was 18. So
The
yeah.
whole life.
Mm-hmm. And we still keep in touch. Actually, her son went to Berklee.
What
Her
style
youngest.
does he play?
Jazz piano.
Jazz piano. So different.
Yeah,
It
very
doesn't matter,
different.
does it?
No.
Music is music.
Music is music. So yeah, I got started when I was pretty young, and I was always just drawn to the songs themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to be a musician, it's another to write songs.
Exactly. Yeah. So I loved like the storytelling role that songs had, especially in like Americana and folk music and that bluegrass community. And I didn't really write any until I was actually in my early 20s. I'd kind of given up on classical violin. I was in college for the first time, and I just like met some musicians and started, like, I wrote my first song, and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Tell us about this first song.
It was entirely a cappella. It was inspired by a movie.
Okay.
I don't know. It was just like, it poured out of me.
It just came.
Yeah.
You were the conduit.
I was the conduit.
Okay.
And then it just started happening over and over again.
Okay.
Like that one wasn't very good. But the next one I wrote, I still play occasionally, called The Storm. And actually, I was working on a farm at the time. And I was just hoeing weeds. And there was a big thundercloud. And there was this storm coming in. And so I wrote a song called The Storm. And yeah, I think I was just done for then.
Yeah. And it takes over.
Yeah.
And then as far as your influences?
So I'm an Americana folk rock mama. Very inspired by artists like Gillian Welch, Bonnie Raitt, Dolly Parton. I love Miranda Lambert. She's more of a recent influence, but I love her. Emmylou Harris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then on the male side of things,
There's a lot of girl power.
a lot of girl power, and I like to highlight those. The Del McCoury band, for sure. Particularly the album. It came out in the 90s. It's called Cold Hard Facts.
Okay.
But it's just like story after story after story, and it's so engaging.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's my favorite Del McCoury record, of which there are infinite number of Del McCoury records. Yeah. Alison Krauss, too. I listen to a lot of Alison Krauss, because you know she's a vocalist and a fiddle player, so
Right.
there's a lot to look up to there.
Yeah. So as far as the influences, do you study the songs and then follow the form, or do you just say, oh, I love that song, and then try to write like it? Or, I mean, how do you find that your influences come out?
Well, I think the majority of the time, I think the influence is more like what I'm drawn to make because of what I like to listen to, and it's not necessarily exact repetition, but just like what I was raised on is what I love, and therefore just like the sonic landscape sounds like them, you know, whether it's like a little blues guitar riff or like some really tight duet harmony singing. I think it shows up in those ways. And then when it comes to like specific songs, sometimes I'll intentionally write with a reference and try to replicate it. Like one of my favorite songs I've written and put out is called Peace, and I 100% stole the chord progression from Gillian Welsh and Dave Rawlings from a track off of Scarlet Town. It's called, I think it's called Tennessee. But yeah, I took it and I just put in a new time signature, and I was like, okay, this is cool.
Well, how many times can you use a chord progression?
I don't know. This one's pretty unique because it's weird. It's weird. It's got some
Okay.
weird
Key
non-chord
changes?
tones.
Oh.
No key changes, but there is like a minor to a major
Okay.
thing happening in the.
So that is specific.
That's very specific.
But it's
yeah.
okay to do that in music.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's the good range for your voice, if it suits the song.
Yeah.
I love that. Can you share a song you wrote that was a turning point in your career or creative process?
Gosh, you know, the song that I'm playing today
Okay.
is really, I think, just like a culmination of all the time I've put into my craft, because I never would have written that song in that way, even like 15 years into me making music. And it's like,
We're using technology
to
inspire.
starting with a track and top lining something.
Yeah.
I didn't even know top lining existed. You know, like, I grew up in a very analog world, right? Like, I play in a bluegrass band with 6 people, and we're all cloistered around a single microphone in the center, you know, like a condenser mic. And that's what I thought sound was. That's what I thought recording was. Like, I had a very basic understanding even of just like input, output, and what that meant. And so the fact that I'm starting in a DAW, downloading samples.
Right.
And then,
so different.
Yeah, and coming up with a whole song form, too, just based on, like, groove and chord progression and arrangement.
Well, the beauty of it is you can take that and play it on your own in the analog way. That's how you know it's a good song.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you can't do that, then maybe it's just mediocre.
Yeah.
Or it's just stuck in one genre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so I guess you answered the question, what does your typical songwriting process look like? It's changed with this one song, but as far as lyrics, melody,
Lyrics.
back and forth, always lyrics.
Yeah, I'm a lyric lady. I hardly ever start with just a musical idea. But I'm fresh off of a song a day challenge.
Right.
Where I wrote a song a day.
Tell us about that.
For 31 days.
The entire month of January.
The entire month of January was a song a day. And I did it. And it's because I could enter into a song, like creating a song from any angle. You know, it wasn't each day I started with lyrics. Because either one, I didn't have time, or two, I didn't have inspiration. You know, it's sort of like my process had to fit my availability. And
But you showed up each day.
Yeah.
You created
and
something.
Yeah, I would still say the majority of them were lyric first.
Okay.
Because I have
You're
a very...
inspired by a title or a
Titles, concepts, stories, just little like one-off lyric things. I keep a running list on my phone. It's,
me too.
Yeah, it's, and it goes deep, so.
I love that. I think people get caught up, I mean, the fact that you could do that every day for 31 days, that seems dreamy, but some people in their mind, they feel like, oh, I need to write a song, it's going to take me all day. But I try to explain to my students, there are songs that take all day, but if you just want to get an idea, if you want to be in the practice and the discipline of writing, you cannot be caught up in all those small little details.
No, you can't. You have to let them go.
Yeah, just put it out.
Yeah.
Don't agonize.
So day 31, I from start to finish, like sitting down and picking up my instrument and getting situated on my chair and drinking my coffee. Mm-hmm. It was 25 minutes.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's 2 verses, a chorus?
It's actually an AAA form, so it's 3 verses with the instrumental interlude with a little vocal riff in between.
Right. Have you ever done that before, 31 days?
No.
Never? Okay.
I'd wanted to, because one of my colleagues, Kat Reiner, she has a business, a nonprofit. It's called Songwriting for Music Educators.
Yes.
And so it's her challenge that she does with her business partner. And I'd seen her do it a couple times, and I always been like, oh my God, that's so cool.
I know. I was going to do it too, but then I just got so caught up in doing my own things. But we shouldn't. Right?
No.
If it's what we love.
No, we shouldn't. And actually, it was a spontaneous decision for me to do it. Like, the first day of the challenge, it was 7 p.m. I was making dinner, and I had intended to do dry January and immediately failed at doing dry January. So I was like, I have to do something.
I need a January challenge.
I need a January challenge that I can actually really get behind.
Perfect.
So I poured myself a whiskey and I wrote myself a song.
2025 doesn't seem to be the year to be dry. It's a little crazy.
It's a little crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Here's one that so many people ask me. How do you know when a song is finished?
Oh, wow. I actually think songs might never be finished. I think they have multiple lives to live. And
beautiful.
I think it's about understanding, like, when do I feel like it's ready to put into the world in any sort of professional capacity, like move outside of I'm playing this alone in my room to I'm playing this in front of people. But once it reaches I'm playing this in front of people, I don't think it stops there.
No, it definitely evolves.
Yeah. Because they're just, I don't know, there's so many things you learn along the way that then you hear. And you're like, oh, this would be better if I made this change.
Let me just do this little tweak.
Yeah, you do a little tweak and it's good. And then, like, you have to, if you're a performing singer-songwriter, you're up there singing the same songs over and over again. Yeah. And sometimes that can be a little tiresome if you've had them in your catalog for 10 to 15 years, like.
You want to change it up a little.
You want to change it up a little, but you don't want to just let go of it.
Right.
So you change the groove a little bit or you mess around with the arrangement. So yeah, I am of the belief that a song is never finished.
That's why we release them.
That's why we release them.
Good. Okay, so do you have any go-to strategies for overcoming writer's block?
Yes. How do we feel about swearing on your podcast?
Oh, let's let it out.
Okay. Stop giving a fuck.
Right.
Like, writer's block is just fear.
It's so true.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, you have things you want to say. You can't get them out because you're afraid they're going to be bad. Like, or it won't be as good as like, I really think writer's block is just fear. And so I think the key to getting over writer's block is telling yourself you're not afraid.
Yeah, I love this.
And also, like, I tell this to my students all the time. I really, I personally try to embrace the mantra that all work is good work, whether or not empirically it is very bad, because it gets you to the next thing.
And it's sincere.
And
I mean, if you're writing something.
Yeah, you wrote it.
Right.
Look, you wrote a song. Good.
That's huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, some people never get a chance to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Good advice. How do you approach writing for yourself versus collaborating with others?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Well, it's funny because I think my primary motivator is always just creativity to the max. Like, I'm not very good at sticking with one genre or sound or, like, distinct.
I've noticed that about you.
Yeah, I like to just, like, I don't know, float on the wind and like, I don't know, explore lots of different things. And I've always been that way. I've always sort of veered away from any sort of like traditional interpretation of song, which is very prominent in the bluegrass scene. You know, like we must play this song in this arrangement, in this particular key that it has been played in for, you know, 50 to 80 years. And I'm like,
there's very strict rules.
Yeah, and I would like to just ignore all of them. But in a collaborative situation, I think it's good to focus on those things in particular, like who is the song for? You know, if we're 2-3 people in a room, who are we writing for? Is it one of us, right? Are we all pitching this to a different artist? Also, like, what do all of us want out of the experience? Do we just want to be creative together? Do we want to write something to put out in any capacity? Like, what's the goal of the song?
That definitely changes it too.
Yeah, and so I think just setting a goal and understanding that and working towards it cohesively, which is much different than the way I write.
Just let it all flow.
Just let it all flow, yeah.
You have to have a little more structure.
Yes.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about teaching and mentorship.
Yeah.
You are a professor at Berklee.
Yeah.
So what's the most important lesson you try to impart to your students?
I think it's a couple things. It's one, like, don't lose sight of what brought you to this practice in the first place, especially in such a rigorous academic and just like training environment.
Right. You constantly got to be practicing and putting stuff out and learning.
And it's very competitive too, even when it shouldn't be, it is. And there's a lot of like comparing ourselves to others that happens in that place. Yes. And so it's really easy to lose sight of why we're there. And I think it's so important not to.
We gotta love it.
You gotta
we
love
loved it to start. That's
so like keep your joy. Don't lose it.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's one piece of songwriting advice you wished you'd received earlier in your career?
In my career, I wish I would have gotten a whole hell of a lot more help with what it means to be a small business owner, because that's what you are. You're an entrepreneur. Right. Your work is your business, and I didn't get that at all. I didn't understand it. I had like one business of songwriting class. Okay. And it was so much information. It was like so far removed, and I grew up in a really small town. Like, I had no idea.
And we would do it for free. That's what my trouble is too. Well, it's so hard to switch over and say, "Give me this."
I know. And even when you are saying, "Give me this," it's still hard to make a living off of it because the industry just works against you. So.
That's a whole nother topic of conversation.
Which is why I tell my students to not lose sight of what brought them to it in the first place, which is joy.
Perfect. Have your students inspired your own songwriting in unexpected ways?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I think that's half the reason why I do so many weird things spontaneously.
Okay,
you know, like
there's the inspiration from your students.
Like in my song challenge, I wrote this like hyper pop sort of pastiche parody thing about an Instagrammer named the Donut Daddy. And I wouldn't even know what hyperpop was without my students, you know? I did like a metal hard rock thing that was definitely inspired by just like working with my students. Overall, they just expand what I listen to, and that expands what I am moved to make. Yeah. And then, of course, I write songs for them or inspired by them. Yeah. Like there was I think it was a lyric writing 2 class, and I had this kid, and we were just coming back from the pandemic in person, and it was I always do these, you know, like icebreaker exercises. And it's always like, tell us a fun fact about yourself, as well as like, you know, your genre and what you want to do with your songwriting, blah, blah, blah. But he introduced himself as, "Hi, my name is Willie. I'm a pre-pandemic bread baker." Because so many people had picked up bread baking.
I got a Dutch oven.
Yeah. And he's like, "I've been making bread before making bread was a thing." that really stood out to me. And so now I have a song called Willie the Baker. It's not explicitly about him, but it is about just like joining together over bread and tea and song.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, so you have been writing songs for how long? Did you say?
I think I was like 19,
19? Okay.
20. So 17 years.
So how has the industry changed for songwriters since then?
Well, it just seems like it's a lot harder, especially for performers.
It's easier in some ways because you can release anything.
Sure, yes.
And you can record at home, but maybe...
Yeah, I don't even know if I would have put out my first EP if like digital distribution services weren't a thing. Like I would have no idea how to get in touch with a physical distribution company.
Right.
But like CD Baby was there, and I was like, okay.
You had to rely on someone discovering you.
Yeah.
Right, back in the day.
So you don't have to. And I do really like the power that gives you as an artist, where you can put out your own stuff, and all the various too, like indie platforms where you can control even more of your intellectual property and who listens to it and how much you get paid when they listen to it.
That's important.
So I do think that's great, and I love how much more accessible recording is for the home recording artist. I think it's so awesome.
It's wonderful.
You know, like you got a good audio interface, you have a DAW, you have a good mic, you have some techniques for making the best out of your space. Like you can get so much done on your own, and that literally saves you like tens upon tens upon tens upon tens upon tens of thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars.
Like so much money.
I'm trying to think back in the 90s when I put out my first CD with the group I was in. We paid $1,000 and someone funded us. But the studio we went in, it had this 99 channel console, reel-to-reel tape. Even just the tape was how much is Ampex tape, John? $250?
It's about $250.
$250, and it's only 16 minutes, so we needed a few of them. And then so much went into it, but we paid enough for 4 days. And the producer worked with us, producer engineer worked for free. That was just paying the studio. So like we just were on the deadline. We had to just accept things as they were. Now you just I could buy my own computer for that, you know, but then I could take 10 years on one song if
you really wanted to.
Sometimes you don't put anything out because you got all the time in the world. But anyway, it's just changed a lot for me too. Do you see it heading in a different direction at all? Are things changing even more?
I just feel like independent musicians and independent venues are so much harder to find and so much harder to make financially solvent. Like I just saw an interview with some like she sells out tours all over the world, Kate something. And her primary financial goal is to break even.
What a shame.
Yeah, and she has hundreds of thousands of fans.
You know, so puts out beautiful music.
Beautiful music.
And she has to just break even.
And her goal is to break even. You know, that's not sustainable. So something has to break. And I feel like we're probably at some kind of breaking point.
We're very close.
Yeah.
I mean, once the digital downloads started happening, that's when the industry just caved in.
Yeah.
Not for CEOs.
Certainly
but for the
not.
artists. Yeah, so everybody, I think now, they pay $15 a month for unlimited songs. They feel like they should get your music for free. But we put our heart and soul. We can't make a living at it.
I mean, I'm fine with people paying for a licensing agreement and getting to stream whatever they want to have access to. But, like, I better make more money off of that licensing agreement.
Even just the 6 cents that we got on the radio.
Even the 6 cents.
6 cents
because
instead of 0.0003.
Yeah, it's
you get 1,000 streams, you make 3 pennies.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's got to change.
It's
we
wild.
Gotta see it change.
We have to be able to make money.
Yeah, in order to keep doing it.
Yeah, and like even coming out of digital streaming platforms. it's been you make money touring and on your merch, right?
Right.
And now that's not happening either.
You have to just break even
You
because
could
you got to
just-
pay so much to the venue and for
Yeah.
marketing. You got to pay for marketing.
So what is it? It's like brand partnerships on social media. Like you get paid per post. A lot of TV placements.
What's the weirdest or most unexpected source of inspiration for a song you've written?
The fact that I have to give my kid Miralax so he'll poop. Like
You wrote a song about it.
I did. It's called What Baby Eats. And like butter noodles, and Parmesan, butter noodles, and it's like it's very like folk lullaby, but at the very end, because all I'm feeding him is like buttered noodles and macaroni and cheese and
'Cause that's
chocolate
the only
milk.
thing
'Cause
he
that's
will
the only
eat.
thing he'll eat. I'm like, and now I have to give him Miralax so that he can poop. And it's so funny. And
Noodles
actually,
of cheese.
it was the second best performing song on my social media.
Oh my gosh.
Of 31 songs that I put on last month. So that one did
That one was huge.
almost the best.
I'm
Yeah.
going to go back and listen. I haven't listened to all your 31 songs. I got to hear that one for sure.
Inspired by Miralax.
Okay. Poop sells.
It's the good shit.
So this you have to go deep. If you could co-write with any songwriter, living or dead, who would it be? and
Gillian
why?
Welsh.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
just knew that quickly.
I love her.
Okay.
She's my idol.
Yeah.
Gillian Welsh. Okay, but then there are others that are in the top tier.
Okay.
You know, she's my number one forever and always. Jason Isbell. If that could happen, that would be so good.
YouTube people, let's try to arrange
Let's
this.
get me in a room with Jason. That'd be great. I would really love that. Chris Stapleton, I would love. Lainey Wilson, I would love to write with. But yeah, Gillian Welsh is my number one.
Okay.
You know who else I would love to meet? And people probably have no idea who this is. Claire Lynch.
I don't know who that
Oh my
is.
gosh, she is amazing. Going back to like influences, she should be in that list because she's great writer and a great singer in the bluegrass world. And yeah, her record Silver and Gold, also from the 90s. Like I went back and was listening to it because I'm planning my next project, and it's very much almost like in honor of everything I listen to that influences me. And she's part of that. Like I have that album on my references list, pretty much every song on it. I would love to write with her. Yeah. There's another artist, Amanda Shires, and she writes a lot on the fiddle. I would love to write like duo fiddle
Yeah.
stuff with her. She's incredible. And
That's her jam.
I love her content too. Like she's so creative and wild, and I really love everything about her ethos and presence. Yeah.
Cool.
I'll write with whoever.
You will. Yep. You're
Yeah.
good. We've written a couple things.
We've written a couple things that I really like too.
I did too. We got to put those out.
We do.
Okay, the very last question. What's your guilty pleasure song that you secretly love?
Oh.
It's hard to admit that you love.
Can I name an album?
Yeah.
Okay, Maroon 5, Songs About Jane.
Oh, Maroon 5. God, how are they so catchy?
I don't know.
They're so good.
I don't know, but it's specifically Songs About Jane. That album.
The whole
The
album.
whole album. And I'm like, I just don't want to tell you that I love it, but I love it so much.
I'm going to go stream it right now.
It's kind of embarrassing.
No, but that's the funny thing about it. You're like, I shouldn't like this. Now, why shouldn't we like it? Because
we
it's just too
should.
poppy.
Yeah, it's too pop. It's really
There's something
like
about
the
those.
classic Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love them.
Work that
Tell
I
us
do.
where we can find you.
You can find me at Erin Bonnie Music on Instagram or Facebook. I have a YouTube channel, Erin Bonnie Music, as well. And then yeah, just Google Erin Bonnie Music. You'll find me
right at the top.
Yep.
And where are you playing next?
Where am I playing next? I'm actually flying down to Nashville in a couple weeks with an artist named Eliza Smith. And we're going to do a little podcast there and a photo shoot, which is going to be very fun. And then we're doing a writer's round.
Oh, fun. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute honor.
Thanks for having me. This was really fun.
Erin, tell us about the song you're going to play.
Sure. The song I'm going to play is called Entertaining Angels. And it's about a dear, dear friend of mine who passed away. I must have been like 12 years ago. He was my bandmate. He was a mandolin player. He really inspired me to just do music.
Okay.
And yeah, so this is for him. Was too soon. I still see your smile, hear you laughing like a damn fool. I was so young, I could barely say your name. I wish I told you how you took my breath away. Now when I close my eyes, I see a place in time when I don't walk away. And maybe if I'd stayed, you would have found the strength to see another day. But now you're entertaining angels. Entertaining angels. I didn't know I loved you till it was too late. I didn't have the words, I didn't think you'd look at me that way. I've scented flowers, put red roses on your grave. It breaks my heart to know you're dead that way. I never said goodbye. I'm still trying, still trying. I never said goodbye. I'm still trying, I'm still trying. I never said goodbye. I'm still trying, I'm still trying. I never said goodbye. And now you're entertaining angels. Entertaining angels. Entertaining entertaining angels. 26 was too soon.
Wow. That is just gorgeous.
Thank you.
There's so much, there's grief, there's loss, there's regret, but there's also a little bit of hope, like he's still there hearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So obviously this is a true story
Yeah.
that you're reflecting on. I guess it just came to me. I'm going to just ask questions about
That's
the writing
fine.
process.
I'm happy
Did
for
you
it.
come up with a concept, a title, a melody? What
So
was first?
actually, fun fact, this is the first time I've ever played this on guitar. Because I wrote it over a splice loop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had to figure out what the chords were because I really wanted to play it today.
Okay.
So yeah, I started with the groove and a chord loop. I downloaded some drums and some bass and a guitar pattern, and I mapped out the whole song form. And I had no idea what I was going to write about, to be honest.
You just loved the vibe.
I just loved the vibe. I loved the vibe, and I think it captured all those emotions that you were talking about, and it just put me in a reflective space. And I had always had this song seed kicking around in my notes that was called Entertaining Angels, because one of our music friends wrote something, after Erin passed away, and it was something about, I know you're up there entertaining angels. And so I literally have been wanting to write that song for 10 to 12 years, and finally it happened.
Maybe you weren't in a space to
I was
let it out
definitely,
yet.
I was not in a space, absolutely not. I've written a bunch of songs about this, and I think this is the one that rings the most true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think reflecting back is where we can really get power with songs. I feel a little weepy thinking about it, but you have to get through the grief
You do.
to understand it in a way.
And yeah, and I had to get to a place where, like, literally I could say these things out loud. Because like I say in the song, I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah. but then the song helps us. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Well, I got one, and you have a drop D tuning.
I do.
Mine is open D, but then it has the E is E.
Okay.
So it's like D add 9, D major 9, I think. I'm looking to John for giving me the clarity. But this one, it's about when you're realizing that you're running away and trying to hide the things that you're feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you're distracting yourself with dumb things. And then someone comes into your life and you think, oh my gosh, maybe they feel the same way. Maybe I can trust you. Maybe this is a way to get through these hard things. Fix it in post, right?
Number one, I love in that first verse the line, put the fishbowl in the fridge. Yeah. And I'm also just like entirely captivated by what does it actually mean to put a fishbowl in a fridge? Can you talk to me about that line? Like, what made you write that specifically?
Well, I wasn't necessarily looking to kill the fish, you know. Yeah. I was just, sometimes when you're avoiding grief or pain or whatever, you get distracted and then you're not actually thinking about what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're just doing dumb things.
Got it.
I never put the fishbowl in the fridge, but I was doing a free write because I liked this idea of you seem like you feel like I feel, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, what does that even mean? And so I just put the timer on for 10 minutes and was writing about weird distractions and things like that. And that's really how it came out. I'm trying to put the fishbowl in the fridge. I'm trying to iron the washcloths.
Yes. I know. It's like, why are you ironing the washcloths?
Why am I doing this? It's like, why am I cleaning the toilets when I should be practicing or writing a song or journaling or something? You know, it's like the dumbest things we end up doing to avoid feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it was about.
Yeah. I liked it too about the line about like free time is too much time to think.
Yeah.
So, like we just don't make it for ourselves, so we don't have to.
Yeah.
Totally identify
Especially
with that.
just consuming, like scrolling, doom scrolling, and watching the news, the crazy things going on. I don't know. The cortisol addiction, maybe that's what it is.
Okay, my other question, and actually maybe I just want to like throw you some love and magic moment, was the last chord in the pre-chorus had me like gutted. I was like, what is that chord? It's so good.
Okay, so
Coming out of the pre.
we got F sharp minor, then a C sharp minor, then a D.
It's the D, but there's something in there too. Like,
Okay, so let me try and figure. This is
what's in the
F
root?
sharp. So this is going to be F sharp. No,
Yeah.
G sharp. No, E. It's E because it's down to D. And so the tuning is D, A, D, F sharp, G.
Yeah.
No, F sharp, A, E. This is a funny thing because you just, when I do alter tunings, I just play
You're
shapes.
like, I'm not sure.
I don't know what.
But
it
anyway, like whatever inversion it's in, and the chord tones and non-chord tones in there,
Yeah.
it's like real juicy.
is. E, B, E, G sharp, B, F sharp. So here, D, there's another D, F sharp, so that's the third,
Yeah.
B,
B,
that's the
the
sixth,
13, yeah, or a 6.
and then another F sharp, so it's that.
Yeah. And there's no A. There's no fifth.
Because that's a B.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Magic.
Magic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's just one little, there's only two shapes that I use for these on the 6th, 3rd, or 4th and 3rd. There's this where it's all the same fret, and then there's one where this one,
Oh,
that
minor.
would be the minor.
Yeah.
So, and then the chorus has the A, G.
I liked the G a lot too. That was my other one. I was like, ooh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Moody.
Moody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And tell us about the your chords. So you took
Oh.
it from a splice loop.
I took it from a splice loop, so I had no idea what key it was.
Was it a guitar?
It was guitar, yeah. I mean, I could hear that it was basically 1, 4, 5, and you hang on the 5 a little bit. But what I like about the drop D and the shapes that I'm playing is that actually you get the D the whole time as a pedal.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah.
Almost like a modal sound.
Yeah, especially when you go up to the 4 and the 5, like it really grounds you in that center. It makes you hear the other chord tones in a kind of a new way, and it's very floaty. So I really like that.
It's gorgeous. It's
Thanks.
gorgeous. And then your grit, the way you sing it. Ooh, I was like, ooh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, that song does make me cry. I'll cry later. In the car on the way home.
That's what it's for, right?
Yep.
We gotta feel the feels.
Gotta feel the feels.
Right on. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's have some lunch.
Let's have some lunch.
Well, that's a wrap on this first episode of Trading Tunes. Huge thanks to Erin Bonnie for sharing her music, her stories, and her time. What an absolute joy to have her here. If you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along for more episodes featuring incredible songwriters. And hey, let us know in the comments who should we trade tunes with next. Until next time, keep writing, keep playing, and keep sharing the music. See you soon.